Kremikovtsi Monastery. The Kremikovtsi Monastery of St. George Bulgarian, Kremikovski manastir, Sveti Georgi, Kremikovski manastir. Sveti Georgi is a Bulgarian Orthodox monastery near Kremikovsi to the northeast of the Bulgarian capital Sofia. Founded during the Second Bulgarian Empire 12th–14th century and re-established in 1493 by a local Bulgarian noble, the monastery includes two churches. Of these, the older medieval church is notable for its highly regarded 15th century frescoes. History. The Kremikovtsi Monastery lies on a hill 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles from the former village of Kremikovsi, now an outlying neighborhood of Sofia. Kremikovsi is located just northeast of Sofia, at the foot of the Balkan Mountains. The monastery was founded during the Second Bulgarian Empire, perhaps in the mid-14th century on the order of Tsar Ivan Alexander R. With the Ottoman conquest of the Balkans in the end of the 14th century, the Kremikovtsi monastery was destroyed in 1398. The monastery was re-established in 1493 by the Bulgarian boyar Radivoj from Sofia. Radivoj's act constitutes direct evidence that the medieval Bulgarian aristocracy was retained. The monastery church was rebuilt from crushed stone as a single-nave church without a dome. Radivoj dedicated the church to his two parish children, Teodor and Dragana. Shortly after the church's reconstruction, its narthex was destroyed by an earthquake and rebuilt in 1503. The church suffered further damage, particularly to its south wall, during earthquakes which impacted the region of Sofia in the 16th and 17th century, and was repaired in 1611. An exonarthex was added in the 18th century. Inside the monastery courtyard next to the small original church lies a new and bigger one, dedicated to the intercession of the Mother of God. Along with other new facilities, it was constructed in 1901–1902 to serve the monastery's new inhabitants, 20 nuns from Vardar, Macedonia, who had arrived in 1879. Art and culture. The old church features frescoes from several periods on its interior walls. The first layer of mural art was ordered by Radivoj and includes a donor's cateter's portrait of Radivoj and his family presenting a model of church together with Kalvet. The frescoes from this period, which are mostly to be found in the east side of the narthex, are regarded among the most precious Bulgarian art from the 15th century. They have been described as accurate and convincing in their portrayal, and as having a warm palette. Additional frescoes were done during the 17th and 18th centuries. A mural painting of a seated St. George resting his feet on a dragon decorates the church's main section. Another image of the same saint, though on horseback, was painted on a niche on the south wall. The main feature of the altar space is a painting of the Theotokos, Mother of God. Besides the original frescoes, another remnant from the monastery's re-establishment is a silver reliquary commissioned by Radivoj in 1493 and later used to house the relics of St. George the New of Sofia. The reliquary was stolen in 1990, though it was recovered and returned to the monastery 10 years later, in 2000. The Kremikovtsi Monastery's set of icons ranges in age from the 15th to the 19th century and includes an image of St. George from 1667 and an image of Christ Pantocrator, very similar in style too, which may link it to the same author. In the 15th century, the Kremikovtsi Monastery was a center of Bulgarian education and culture. At the time, the monastery housed 2 schools for laymen and 1 for clergy. An illustrated Bulgarian manuscript produced in 1497 for Peyu and Petko, 2 citizens of Sofia, the Kremikovtsi Gospel, provides evidence as to the existence of a calligraphic tradition at the monastery.